Heath, welcome back to Melbourne.
Good to be back. Really good.
And good to see your. Good to see the. Oh, this is nice.
It's nice when it's cold, yeah.
Good to see you dipping the bike into the water at Bondi, was it?
It was Clovelly Beach.
Clovelly Beach, yes,
Yeah.
with Sarah.
Yep.
And Sarah looked after you.
No, it looked after me really well, yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Now, we spoke to Nog and everyone else about how we were going to look at your bike when it came back and to see what condition and everything was after how many kilometres?
4,458 kilometres.
And 4,458.
Yeah.
And how many flats?
No flat tyres, and I never pumped up the tyres once.
You never pumped up the tyres once?
And I never looked at them because...
How many days?
13 days, 10 hours, 4 minutes.
And that beat Oppy's record by 7 minutes.
Ironically, it was 7 minutes, yeah. It was touch and go with the...
Does that mean you were actually on the rivet for the last wee while? You were trying to beat him, or you just didn't know
when
how you were?
I got off the main road into Sydney near Liverpool, I had 90 minutes to get to Martin Place, and I thought, I don't know how many kilometres it is, but maybe it's on, and I just sprinted for 90 minutes.
We're going to pull apart your bike.
Yeah.
Now, I said to you, ride your bike over here, we'll do it here, and then I'll give you a lift home, throw your bike in the back of the car so you can actually do everything safely and get it all home safely. Okay, so let's bring the bike over and let's pull it apart.
Yep.
What's the bike called?
This is Tom. I call him Titanium Tom because he's titanium.
Titanium Tom. And it's a curved bike. We believe the scratches here happened when the scratches there happened.
Yeah, I had a fall at 2 a.m. in Ballarat. Slow motion fall, slow speed, but oops.
So here's Tom. We've got our shoes off, everyone. So psychology shoes, socks on down there.
Yeah, the other socks I wore most days went brown. The sun bleached them from black to brown.
Really?
For the ankle up to brown, they're just...
Really just destroyed.
And
the rest of your kit was what you wore nearly every day?
Yeah, the Ace House Nicks and the custom top, dark night top.
Yep.
And the base layer, pretty useful as well. Yeah.
Excellent.
It's been washed.
And sticky tape on, tape on the
nipples, yep.
Tape on the nipples, yes. All right.
Thanks for sharing.
Have a look at this, guys. This is Tom. I'm going to just give you a quick rundown of what I see on Tom. I see a massive bag on the back, which is got lots of stuff in it.
Yeah,
I see another cross bag here, 2 bottles here,
3.
But there's a third bottle hiding underneath here. These are disc brakes, not caliper brakes.
Endurance saddle.
Endurance saddle, great for the great for men. We'll just leave it at that. Now, ski bars, put on the bike just to make it easier. Yeah. The aero bars.
Carbon.
Yeah, carbon aero bars. Battery. That's
the K-light.
Oh, that's the K-light.
That's the front light.
Yep. That's your charger, USB charger, so you can charge up things as you're riding.
Yep. And this is a switch between USB and light here.
Yep. So we can turn on light or turn to USB.
Yep. So that's
for the K-light.
USB.
Yep. The Garmin.
Garmin on the Garmin mount.
Yep. What's this sort of phone? This is a weird looking phone.
It's called an iPhone.
An iPhone?
Yeah, and it's on a quad lock.
No idea. It's on a quad lock. So
everything's black with red, but this is black with blue, but it still works.
Still works. We'll have to talk quad lock into doing a black with red, a dark night quad lock.
Yeah.
And of course under here we've got the nog. Now we're going to start with removing the nog. Now it looks like the nog's actually had a bit of a tough life on this ride.
So before this ride, I got a flat. I went through a huge pothole and I got the mount fixed, but it actually fell on the disc brakes. So the nog's actually been treated like it's been through a sawmill. But to show the lights work perfectly and it's fantastic. 300 hours on economy.
That's the nog light. Now I'm not going to direct it straight at the camera. I'm going to try not to anyway. The nog light is just so many settings. Great for this sort of a ride. How impressed were you with the nog?
Very impressed. And you need 2 of everything. So I had the K light for the dynamo light, but this was my secondary headlight as well as my secondary battery.
As well as your secondary battery now.
Push the red thing.
Push the red thing.
And when you stop, you've got this light so you can see what you're doing. You can, if you needed.
So that's the head of it, and that's the battery, and the battery can now be used as a USB charger. So it's you can charge it up using the micro, then you can use it as a USB charger for your iPhone or any other device. The locking unit on this comes with several different locking units on the bike, but I think even this locking unit's had a bit of a hard life over your 4,500 kilometres that you've ridden with it.
Well, what was good though was the setup had everything exactly where I needed. I could ride, I could charge things, I could have lights day and night. What you didn't mention is there's this cable here.
Yep. So we've missed the cable. This cable here is the cable coming up from the
rear light.
The rear light. So in other words, you could charge that and use it at the same time.
Yeah. So I've got a rear light that has about 6-hour battery.
Yeah.
And I can plug it in and recharge it the next day. But if I'm doing 8 hours in the dark, and sometimes I did that, I can plug it in and it can be charging while I'm riding, because the K-Light has a full setting and a dull setting. So I could be charging the back one, then go back to the main light or use the nog. So yeah, I can ride 10, 12, 18 hours.
Now the thing we have to explain to everyone is you haven't got a big solar panel on your head.
Correct.
You've got a dynamo that you're using the whole time.
Yeah.
So your dynamo is built into the K-hub, which is just down here. And that's got a little USB cable that comes off, or little power cable that comes off, runs all the way around and up to the K-Light at the top, which is where we separate it into power, switch,
Exactly.
all the accessories.
So the innovation I brought about this year was to have this USB cable going from the USB at the front to the rear light. So I never had to take the rear light off. I never had to recharge the rear light. It was just it stayed there for weeks.
So let's start to pull apart the bike a little bit here.
Yep.
Look, it's your bike, and I know
You hold the front. I'll
during the ride, I know for a fact you don't like anyone touching your bike because. Well, why is that? Is it just the comfort level to know that your bike is...
Only because I've got things I put in different pockets. I've got money, credit card on that side.
You just told everyone where your money and credit cards held.
It's not there now.
Oh, okay.
You know, the spot tracker was on the back.
Yeah.
Below the sky. I had food and other things, spare tires, tubes. I knew where they all were, and it's my responsibility to make sure I have those things, and I leave things behind. It can affect me being able to complete my journey. So I need to be responsible and in charge, and I need to make sure I'm on top of everything. So this comes off really easily. There's one there.
So many little bits and pieces there to get that off.
No, but it's just.
Right, this is not just Overlanders that have all this stuff. This is Audix riders as well.
Put that on the ground
use that sort of thing. Yeah, you'll pop it on the ground. Now we're going to.
Here's the cable here that goes to the rear.
Yeah, so it's braided cable, so make sure it's going to last the distance.
And we can take that off.
Yeah, well, it's up to you, of course, but I'm just going to take these off at the same time. One, two, and a third bottle hiding underneath.
Yeah, you turn the wheel to the side at the front. It's only a 600ml because there isn't room for a 750, and I usually use that for electrolyte.
So you have the electrolytes in there, you put that into the other bottle and mix it with water when you go to a petrol station or something like that.
Yeah, I put the water in and I put the Hearts and Crosses electrolyte, my original sponsor, and I never had to worry about hydration and electrolytes because it was all there. So this went under the bag and never had to worry about lights at the rear of the bike. And it's pretty important for safety to be seen.
Yep.
So
did you wear any other reflective stuff when you were riding, Heath, or was it just relying on your lights? Or
my rain jacket and my wind vest is a bright green, so
yeah, and it reflects. It reflects,
yeah, and I wear it in the evenings. So yeah, most of the time when the light's fading, and if there's traffic coming, I tend to stand up and show a bit of movement, a bit of contrast. Yeah, so often stand up and move, and they see your body moving and
jump around a wee bit, and
that's just black electrical tape that's replaceable.
Yeah.
I'll take the back bag off.
Yeah. Let's do that.
It's a Rafa branded Apertura, I believe.
Does that ever chafe the legs?
No, not at all. And the deal with these is you got to make sure they're done up tight so they don't swing. Because when they swing, it affects your riding.
Yeah.
It's got these at the back. I usually roll it up this way, a bit of reflector.
Yep.
If it's raining, you might want to turn it the other way. But only had one day of rain. It wasn't a problem.
Oh wow! Yeah, last year was a lot more rain. Last year.
Right on Nullarbor near Eucla.
Yeah.
Everyone else was in bed sleeping. I kept riding. So there's the rear light.
Now Heath, this is why we're doing this. Before this, you actually went on a little bit of a ride, just in honour of my call, And that was just a little bit of a bike ride around Melbourne in preparation for this. 24 hours, and you done how many kilometres a day?
Yeah, I did a 12-hour ride as a practice to ride through the night and see how I felt in the morning. And I had a bit of headwind, so I didn't publicise it a lot. But I started at 6:22 a.m.
Yep.
And got to St Kilda, and it was like 5 to 6. The coffee shop was about to open, and I hadn't done as many kilometres as I wanted to because of the headwind. So I thought, that's enough. Had some food.
I'm done. Yeah. Now to move to the front of the bike. This is starting to look a bit more like the bike that I'm used to on Beach Road there, hey?
Yeah.
Move to the front of the bike. We've got your phone here, which is on the K-Light. The quad lock.
Yeah, so this is mounted on the stem. There's lots of different mounts for the quad locks, including in cars. But
now the good thing is that means that you can actually communicate with people. So there were times when people were going, "Your dot hasn't moved. Where are you?" And you've messaged people back saying, "Yes, I'm all right. I'm moving."
Yeah, well, having had one or two little falls over the past couple of years, I like to keep both hands on the handlebars. So I've got this for the maps, and I can see where I'm going with maps. And if someone sends me a text message, it comes through across the top of the screen. You can see it without touching the phone. And someone sent a message when I got to Sydney saying, "I think you might be on the time," and without even looking or answering, it's like, yeah, let's give it a go. So that works well. And if someone rings, you can actually push a button and answer and talk to them hands free.
Yeah, I tried that with you once.
Very windy. The wind, yeah, doesn't quite work.
but that's the way it is.
So that's the cable for the K-Light, and there's a bridge here that goes between the two aero bars.
Yep, and we're not going to pull it apart now because, I mean, unless you want to, I think that looks like it's...
No, but I taped it up so that I wouldn't have any issues with any screws coming loose. I wanted reliability and stability.
Yep.
And
we lost the plug up here on the train coming back from Sydney.
Oh, the taxi!
Taxi
from downtown Sydney to where I was staying that night. I just got a taxi.
Now, of course, we all know the truth here. It's not a ride unless it's on Strava.
Yep.
So you've got your Garmin at the top here as well.
Yep. And I was able to charge the Garmin while riding as well.
Yep. So that meant that your Garmin was well past its 12 hours of recording time. Could go well into the.
Oh yeah.
Well past.
I had one day it was 23 hours riding.
Yeah. So you just keep on charging it.
Yeah. Big sleep before, a lot of riding, and then a small sleep after, and it kind of worked.
So over the next couple of days, I'm assuming the skis are coming off, and Tom will be looking back like the bike that we're used to down Beach Road.
Yep, yeah.
The Dynamo stays on board, of course. That doesn't have to come off at all.
That stays on, yeah.
Yeah, and we'll be getting ready for the next race, the next ride, which is
it's the US Trans Am.
US Trans Am, which is in May.
1st of June.
1st of June.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's only 6,800 kilometres.
6,800, just a couple more kilometres. Couple of thousand more kilometres than this one.
Once you settle in, it's all right.
Just to show a little bit here on the skis what this is like. This is actually a light here, so we can just flick that around. That's the K-Light that we're talking about, and that's a really bright light that goes on the front that just sort of gives a massive look at the field ahead. That's the little charging unit there, and that's the switch that we were talking about in the back.
Yeah, I'll move this out of the way so you can see it.
How was it? How was the bike? How did it all perform?
I was really happy with the bike. I like the bike. I know the bike. It had a full service before, so cables, brake pads, all of that were done. New disc brake went in. And the setup, it's a bit like a last minute thing. You get everything to happen and everything's built on top of everything else. But it all went together and it was exactly how I wanted it. It was reliable, it was dependable, it was simple. I could charge everything. I never had to worry. And it was perfect.
Tell us about the ride.
Someone said to me, good points, bad points. The good point, was the sprint into Sydney. And there were no bad points. I really can't say anything went wrong. Occasionally, you see that you made a bad decision, or you should have done something differently, you should have done something earlier, you should have drank earlier, or should have eaten earlier. And you fine-tune those things. But look, there's roadkill on the road, but there were no flats, very few potholes. The drivers, by and large, were fantastic, especially the trucks on Nullarbor. I spoke to all the truck drivers in the roadhouses, and they need to know what you're going to do. And when there's oncoming trucks for them, or oncoming traffic for them, they can't change lanes. So you need to know there's a choke point, and you just get off the road. It's part of sharing, and it works really well. And I've been told by the truck drivers, if there's a crest coming up, if you get off the road, then the truck driver doesn't have to worry because the truck driver cannot see what's beyond the crest. So it's just thinking for the driver.
Yeah.
And it worked really, really well. And, you know, maybe once a day you get off the road because they're going to cross. One day I had 6 times in the daylight with trucks crossing and I got off the road and it was just a coincidence.
Now, the Oppy's Ride, you bet Oppy's record by 7 minutes, but there's other people that hold the record.
Well, I set out to follow Oppy's route and I was able to stumble across it because I'm doing some research into endurance cycling in Australia. And yeah, he set his record in 1937. He broke the 18-day record that Bertels, I believe, set. And he did it in 13 days, 10 hours and 11 minutes. And it was 32 years and no one broke it. And in 1969, an Australian professional broke it. Again, supported. These are all supported rides. And in 1988, someone I just found out about broke it a second time. So it's been broken twice. So as far as I know,
What about
I have
unsupported?
Well, as far as I know, I have the 3rd fastest time unsupported. But I don't believe anyone's done Oppy's route unsupported before.
Okay.
So
So you may have the record for it being unsupported.
Yeah, and simply Oppy's route was what everyone was doing at the time. They were going from city to city. So Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne, Canberra, all of these, they had records for them. And these records still exist and we're digging them all up. But when you add it all together, there was a Perth to Sydney record that involved doing Adelaide, Melbourne, Canberra. So there were 3 capital city checkpoints. And that was Oppy's route. You could take whatever road between those, but what they generally did was took the shortest, fastest, easiest road because they were looking for setting a time record. So yeah, I suspect I'm the fastest on Oppy's route unsupported.
So it means,
so far.
So it means maybe time for a race on the Oppy's Road.
Yeah, why not? And look, what I did was safe, and I made sure I had enough sleep, and I was in control of myself and my wits and faculties all the time. And I'm not a professional. I'm sure the time that I've done is beatable. I mean, the fact that Oppy's record stood for 32 years and has only been beaten twice, 3 times since, just shows how great these riders were. I mean, the roads have changed a bit. There was a bit of sand for 10 kilometers near Youth Club when Oppy did it because the sand would blow over the road. The roads are a little bit better, and the bikes are better. The technology's changed. Yeah, these records are there. We might as well play with them and have fun with them. They're Australian. They're ours.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks, Heath. Really good to have you back, and we'll be back on Beach Road again in no time.
Yep.
Maybe even tomorrow morning.
Maybe tomorrow morning.
Thank you everyone for joining in on this little bit of a chat. Hope you learned something from it. I hope you understand what the Overlanders have to carry in order to survive doing these amazing rides. 4,500 kilometres is just mind-boggling.
Average 332 a day, average.
332 a day, and we'll catch you next time for our next review.